Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we deal primarily with post-apocalyptic situations, that type of stuff. Things you can make for defense, protecting yourself, protecting your resources, gathering resources, doing that type of stuff whenever, if we were in, I guess, kind of more of a less of a crisis situation and more of like a post-apocalyptic garage apocalypse is our theme for this channel. So that got me kind of thinking, wherever it is that you decide to shelter down during a crisis, whether it be shelter in place if you choose to stand your ground at your own home, or if you end up finding shelter in an abandoned neighborhood or something like that, the number one thing that you're going to have to be able to do is protect that. A lot of the things that I see when it comes to people preparing for these type of situations, a lot of responses I get when I talk to people is, oh, well, I've got my guns. I've got all my guns to protect my house, all my firearms, and I've got this number of ammo and blah, 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 blah. That's a good thing. Absolutely. 100%. But when it comes to a situation where you are scavenging for resources, there are going to be other people, particularly since a majority of us live in highly populated areas and don't necessarily have the option to just scram out to some hideout in the woods. There's going to be people that are looking for the same type of resources that you might have. And those people who come to take those resources from you, particularly in a post-apocalyptic type situation, would be absolutely insane to not have firearms as well. So if you have firearms and the bad guy has firearms, then you're kind of back on even ground. So what else could you be doing to protect wherever it is you have decided to shelter down at that gives you an edge above that neutral ground that you being well armed and him being well armed does? And what that got me thinking was the other day I was driving by a mechanic shop and they stored vehicles that they were working on in the back lot, and I noticed along the top of the fence they had several rows of barbed wire. In the country, barbed wire is primarily used for keeping livestock penned within an area, also potentially helping to keep predators out of an area. It's obviously used in things like prisons as a deterrent for people breaking in or out. It's generally designed to be a deterrent system or a way to slow down in a situation. So like, let's say somebody was trying to break in, it would be something that could slow them down so that you had a better chance to be in the position to react first. Give you that added few moments of time you need to really get the one up in the situation. But because we're a post-apocalyptic channel, man, I can't talk today, we realize that most people aren't going to just have a bunch of barbed wire laying around in their shed or in their garage in the event that they might need it for something. It's kind of a weird item to just have laying around, but we were thinking to ourselves, what could we do to produce something similar so that you could protect your property or at least give you that few moments of time to slow down an invader so that you have an option to react first. So we went doing what we normally do. We went looking around in the garage and trying to find stuff we might be able to use, and I came across a couple things that I thought would be pretty cool for this video. The first was I found an extension cord. Not really an extension cord, it actually was a power cord. It was buried under a 1/4 inch of dust, so I'm assuming it's something that I either don't have or haven't had a need for the cable in a long time. It had an old cigarette lighter battery plug-in and this type of connector on the end, which I don't have an electronic device that even takes this, so I'm not sure where this cord came from. But it was about 8 feet long and it gave me an idea. So I cut the cord, cut the ends off. I just wanted the cord itself. This is a basic two-prong, or not two-prong, but two-cable cord, just like a light-duty extension cord. And another thing that we had laying around in our garage was this half-used spool of 18-gauge baling wire. I believe it's 18 gauge. Without the packaging it originally came in, I couldn't tell you. It might be 16 gauge, but it seems pretty thin for being a 16 gauge. But either way, in a long piece of this wire, it is very, very flexible. But in the short ends of it, it maintains a pretty decent amount of rigidity. That's going to be important for what we're doing. So the idea is that we're going to use pieces of this baling wire to create barbs along the length of this extension cord. This will make a very flexible barbed wire that you could use to put on the top of your fence to deter curious onlookers and trespassers. Use it as an obstacle to stop or slow down people from getting to valuable resources. You can see that we did part of this wire already. This was mainly because we wanted to try to figure out different ways to do this that would be the easiest for somebody to duplicate, and we came up with a process. This stuff is nasty, by the way. Here's our completed roll of it. It scratched me up pretty bad in the making of this, so it was nasty. It wasn't a fun thing to make, but I'd probably rather deal with a room full of feral cats, probably walk out with less scratches and cuts than I did making this stuff. But we came up with a process that was fairly simple and fairly quick. It's not going to be as good as some big giant spool of barbed wire that's professionally made that you could buy, but those companies that you can buy that stuff from, based on what our channel is about, those things and those options aren't around. They're not available anymore. So what is something you could duplicate that process? And again, this may be kind of a silly idea and really taking things to the extreme, but that's sort of what we do here on this channel. So anyway, we have our baling wire, we have our cord, and what we decided to do was, after many different designs and different ways, from trying to push the wire through the cord to using a nail with our hand and punching a pre-hole, we found that this ended up working out the best. We punched 2 different size nails through a piece of wood. The main reason for doing that is it allows you a strong, sturdy, pointed surface to split your wire with and put a starting hole in there for you to put your pieces of baling wire through. The process is really simple. You just press it on and it will punch your hole straight through your wire. That'll give you a starting point to push your piece of baling wire that you're going to use to cut your barb off of with. We chose, most barbed wire you buy usually has a barb like every 5 to 6 inches or so. We kind of went a little aggressive with this one and went just about, basically about every 2 inches, 2.5 inches. It did severely increase the time that it took to make this, but once we developed this little thing or put this together, we went from taking about 30 minutes to do a foot to about maybe 30 to 45 minutes to do the remaining 7 feet. So what you basically want to do is you want to cut a 2-inch piece of your baling wire off and straighten it. Once you have punched the hole in between the center of your cable, this one's kind of hard to see on camera, but once you have punched a hole through that center piece, you can see it just gently. We'll try to get some light through it. That gives you a starting point to push your baling wire through. So once you put your baling wire through, get it about halfway through, just like that. And what that'll allow you to do then is to twist it around multiple times, probably 2 or 3 times, just to make sure that it really grabs hold of your wire and it's not going to slip or move or slide up and down or rotate. Gives you a setup like that with pretty long prongs on it. Then what you're going to want to do is, hopefully you have some sort of pair of end nippers, and you're going to want to cut these down to the length that you want your barbs to be. Ours are about a 1/2 inch length. Now the key to this, to make this really nasty, is when you cut these barbs, cut them at a very sharp angle, so that when you're finished, you have a very sharp little spike right along the end of the tip of your barb. These are designed to snag clothing, scrape skin, do all kinds of stuff that will slow down or outright deter somebody who is trying to get past it. It's very simple. It takes about a minute maybe to complete a barb, and depending on how many barbs you want along your cable, you can estimate how much time it's going to take you to produce. The neat thing about this is flexible, so it's very easy to work with. It's very easy to wrap around things. You could wrap it around a baseball bat to make yourself a defensive weapon. You can bundle it up really well, wrap it around a fence, the top of a fence. You can stretch it across any type of situation that you might want to apply it to. Works really great if you want to make a pin for some livestock animals that you might be trying to house. But yeah, it's just a very simple idea, but another one of those type of post-apocalyptic resources that can help give you an edge on the people that are out in the world around you, because that's your competition. They see you as competition, they are your competition, and your goal is to give you every edge you can to stay up and above in the situation and to protect the valuable resources that you have grabbed. And this could potentially be a great item for that. There you go. Very simple. Not a lot of demonstration to it. Just something to think about. And we hope that you guys enjoyed it. And visit our channel. There'll be a link, or not our channel, but our website. There'll be a link down below. There's a lot of stuff on the website that'll give you kind of neat ideas of things that you can build with stuff that you scavenge, steal, or find. And as always, be safe, and we'll catch you on the next one.